Welcome to Model Horse Tax School. My name is Carrie, and a couple months ago I made a decision to get a 3D printer. And I had been holding off getting a 3D printer until they got the scanning technology to a point where it was affordable. And so that you can basically scan a real world object, and then it'll make what's called a G-code file, basically instructions for how it should be printed. And that's been the number one thing, is I didn't want to sit and spend 4 weeks in CAD, which I'm not all that good at, trying to create something that would look lifelike. I wanted to be able to take a picture or series of pictures or use a scanner and walk around an object. Even that, of course, has limitations because you don't necessarily own the object, or the object may not be, someplace where you can get that scan. And then I found out that all you need is a picture. There's software now. I'm using Meshy. And if you give it one side view picture, like from here or from here, so that it can see the top and 2 sides. So it's going to see 3 sides of the object. Usually you don't care about the bottom. There's AI software that can now take that and turn it into a 3D object file. Now Meshy's a paid service. Get a few for free, then you get hooked, and then you buy an upgraded package. And I'm having a blast. So this is a saddle tree holder, and I found a picture on the internet, really liked it. Took that to Meshy and said, here, make. And it's not perfect the first time. A lot of times you have to do multiple retries. Sometimes it'll get it right the first time, but it may not be perfect. So originally this had a hook or a loop like that for the bridle, and that's not going to work for ours. So I added, going into a CAD program, I added this to be able to hold the bridle, so the bridle would drop in front if you wanted to put a bridle or a halter on this saddle stand. And the other thing was, I didn't like the decorations on the front here, so I went in and I fixed that. And then there was problems in the G-code that the AI did, where this top would not print. It was the G-code made it so narrow that when I went to slice it, it disappeared. So then I had to fix that problem too. So what the heck is that? So it's 3 different pieces of software that I'm using. You take the picture to, I'm using Meshy. Meshy gives me basically a framework. Okay, that eliminates the weeks of hand doing stuff in CAD. Then I have to put it in a CAD program to fix it, and whatever the problems are. Where here I had to add bulk to the top, so this top would print. I still need to sand this, by the way. And then I put it into what's called Slicer software, and that takes and creates instructions for your specific printer, so your printer knows how to print it. This is a pack saddle, again, a picture, and it took about 3 or 4 attempts before I got this one, which is actually pretty good. And I think there's actually, I haven't actually tried, but an opening under there. I sell these on my eBay store. And then you have to find the right, of course, dimensions. So this would be a stablemate jump for cross country. I have not been able to successfully print this for traditional or any larger scale. It always fails, so there's something wrong, so I got to figure that out. You're going to have a lot of failures. I've got a lot of, in the beginning, I didn't get the settings right. Last night I had one fail because I told it was the wrong filament, and so all the temperature settings were off, and the thing was just spaghetti, because I did it just before I went to sleep. So my fault. I told it was one type of plastic and it was a different type. It's a huge learning curve if you're not technical, if you're afraid of learning curves, if you don't like troubleshooting things, if you want things to, you know, always be perfect so you don't have to think, don't get into 3D printing, because everything you do is going to have issues. Like this one here, I got to figure out, why do I have these bumps? I shouldn't have these bumps up here, because this here is the top. It's not the printer. This is my file, so I have to go back in, CAD these lumps out. And then have this funny lump here too. Same thing, I got to figure that out. First time I printed this, very happy with it. It's got these lines because I had it on ultra fast mode, so that's just from the, it's a printer artifact. So just saying, if you don't like problems, don't get into 3D printing, because really most of the time what you're doing is solving problems. And then I have this horseshoe jump, and again, problems with the file. It was too thin, and I had funky holes, and I filled them in with wood filler. And so don't know if this will ever go out for production, but that's a nice picture of a jump without a horse in it. If you get one with a horse in it, then you have to remove the horse, and that's a lot of work. So like this jump, but that one might be too much work. So I also have a butterfly, vertical, a cactus, oxer, and bicycle jump, the one from Spruce Meadows, Canada. If you've seen that bicycle jump, I have those in my eBay store. They're U-finish, so you sand them, you paint them. And I am picking a plastic that you can do that. So I was going to work on corral fencing. This is lightweight, which for live shows would be awesome. But I have this artifact here. I have to figure that out. That might be, I'm just printing too many things on the plate at once, and so the plastic's cooling down while it's on the bed. So I'm going to try printing this all by itself, because the rest of these are pretty round, but this top here, if not, I'm going to have to re-CAD these corners so that I get rid of that. And I'm still working on how these things connect. So this seems like an awesome thing, right? It's a gate, you know, small gate. And then you got these snap connectors. Yeah, they don't necessarily go in there because the printer wants to put supports in here. And so now I've got extra plastic in here that I don't want. And if I make these too small, then they snap off when I pull off the supports. Lots of fun. So still working on fencing. Want to do a cattle chute, you know, for roping. So I have a lot of things I want to do, but I have to solve all these problems. See, this one here have the same issue where it's not round. And I don't know, I mean, it doesn't bother me, but if I'm going to sell these to people, I think it might bother people. The plastic just didn't fuse, and then it shrank. So, like I said, it could be, it has something to do with temperature, so I got to figure that out. When they are successful, like these, it's really awesome. The butterfly jump, the bicycle jump. I made that bicycle jump twice in wood. So I had the pictures of what I had made, and I was able to use the pictures I took of my jump to make the 3D version. But it really comes down to, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things. I had a picture of a presentation cart. I know how many times I've showed this. But you can't print it like the picture. It won't, because of all the supports. And the supports cause what's called scarring, which I think I need a multi-filament printer so I can use different plastic for the support. So this becomes the bottom, even though it's the top, and consider the bottom always looks like crap, but the top looks great. Like this is this sits on supports, so that actually came out really good. I opened the hole up too much, and now it's all wobbly. So the wheels had to be separate. I wanted this to be able to turn, but now, you know, now my wheels hit each other so So then I had to invent how do I put the wheels on so they spin, so I had to create the pin. So there's a lot of work involved in creating the file. And then of course still trying to figure out how to make removable poles so this whole thing will ship. Because if it's too big, too long, it costs too much to ship. So this would be like that. I could ship it. And then I could also ship different length poles for different models, right? So it's work. Most of the work is prep. It's very much like writing a book. Most of the work is up front. And then after I have the file, have the print the way I want it, and I understand the parameters for the print, then I can make multiples. But those are some of my products. I have saddle trees. I'm almost ready to release a tree that fits my saddle patterns. It's really close. This is the first one I did with my new saddle trees with my pattern, but there are going to be, changes. So this is the first saddle that I've made using one of my new 3D printed saddle trees for this pattern, and it's in training, so that's why it's on a horse. So the biggest issue I still have is that it's too tight right around here, so I'll make that modification. And then my rear piece here, I like the seat shape. I really do like the seat shape. I like the horn. So I mean, I have back here fits my seat and fits the cantle cover, either one of them. One piece that I probably have to change is back here. Now I could, because I know how now, I can bring the seat back so that it's lays back. I can widen the gullet so it fits. One of the things that I'm still not pleased with, but it's better, is having it fit here. If you see right there, I would like to have a wider gullet. To do that, I do have to make serious changes to the pattern, but this horse has no withers. It's one of the things about this. A lot of the Brer models have no withers, so trying to see if I can find a way to broaden the front, make it wider, without making the saddle even longer, bigger, out of scale, because there's no withers on this horse. You just see how broad withered that is? That's very hard to fit. It's like draft horse withers. But they do that. Most of the Western pleasure horses seem to have no withers. Here's another one. She's a little bit better. So the whole idea is to see if I can get it to sit flatter and fit those withers better. So this fits my saddle pattern, this tree, very tightly, but still trying to find a way to make sure that it fits the actual horse. And that's a tough one. You need a different tree for almost every horse. But then you put that on something with withers and it'll fit just fine. These are very wide withered horses, which is weird. I think in the real world, I don't know how many times riding bareback, you know when a horse has withers. You absolutely know. And that's as a girl. I can't imagine what the guys think. Then let's say you have a horse like this. Look at those withers. Those are withers. And you put that on there and it's almost a perfect fit, if you see that. Because the horse has, here we go, almost a perfect fit. And it lays right over the withers perfectly without too much. It's supposed to be 2 fingers. gap. So a lot of it is the models. The models are designed without withers, but this guy actually has, this is a real horse's back. I love this mold. I know, and they fixed him up from when he was Rugged Lark. I don't know what he's called now, but really like him now. But anyways, I've made a ton of different trees. I'm not sure how specific I'll get when I sell, but that's what I can do now that I have a 3D printer. And then I would have to modify my pattern, but I could just take this piece and split it down the middle. And then I'd have to put something in here to split it down the middle, this piece, the two front jockeys. Cut it down the middle. And then I'd need to widen that. I mean, I could sit here and think of all the things I would have to do to the pattern in order to make it fit. That's what I've been doing for a very, very long time. So it's almost second nature to me. But that's my thoughts on 3D printing for the model horse arena. We need somebody who will do that, make all these different things that we can't find, and then I will have files. Eventually I'll be done with printing and I'll go ahead and sell the files so you can try and print your own. But just letting you know, these things that I'm doing, they're not necessarily easy to print. The supports create all sorts of rough areas. I mess up my wheels, which makes me unhappy. But I can make these things, and I can get really close, and all of those things can be solved post-production, you know, with a little bit of sandpaper and whatever. If there's anything that you would like to see made, I can't guarantee I can make it. Some things are just, they're limited in size. Like I can't do anything bigger than a 1/9 scale so far, and I can't do anything smaller than a stablemate scale. So nothing for mini winnies, and the stablemate scale is going to be limited. Like this here, these will not print at stablemate scale. All right, so I have another chariot that I could do that would be better for stablemate. For stablemate, I would do this one. These would just basically disappear into the chariot. Same thing with these, because they kept printing small. They reduce down to where they just become part of the chariot. So I'm learning that. I'm learning the limitations of what I can print, how much I can reduce it. If I get one in traditional scale, then I can use my reduction ratios to get them down to, there are people that ask for Venti, which is Collecta. That one, I don't know, I'm not going to make too much for that. If somebody asks, I will. Like I have a cart, I have a country gig on my eBay for Venti. But basically I was going to do traditional scale, classic scale, and stablemates, because I know people love making stuff for stablemates. I can't see anything when I can't see it anymore. Anyways, try to make them so that, I mean, this is the most sensitive part of a cart is right here. So if we just make it so that that comes out, then we don't have to worry about shipping. Won't be so long for shipping. These are all the things that I have to work out when I'm making these, is how am I going to ship it afterwards? How am I going to store it if I decide to keep it? And but you let me know what you think you want. You go ahead and submit any request, anything I haven't already thought of. I'm up for it, trying to do this for our hobby. Thank you for spending time with me today. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and have yourself a really good day.